What's up, Trios Tribe? Bringing you guys another Core BT. No, I'm sorry. This is the special release booster 2.0. It's our first regional for the new set, for our one step closer to merging with Japan. And I thought it'd be really cool to bring someone else along with the ride. You should see him on the screen. What's up from Hakaper Coliseum? It's
me. It's TJ. Hello, hi. I'm the bald gnome with a dome, as Ben's been calling me recently.
Oh man, that's kind of that's a level of bullying. We need a
No,
are you
told
okay?
him to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I enable it.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, I mean, as long as you're okay with it, then I guess it's not bullying it. Then you're asking for it. That's tough to say. But no, November 9th, this past weekend, we had the CORETCG Regional, and me and Digipanda got to stream it, and here's the top 16 out of the gate. We had 408 players, 9 rounds, and looking at the pie chart, pretty diverse. There was 2 big decks going into this format that everyone had their eyes on, which would be Lord Knight and Purple Hybrid, and they didn't really do much. What do you think about just looking at the pie chart right now?
I think looking at the pie chart, Lord Knight X is about what I expected. A lot more Mirage Galaxy or Mirage in general than I expected. Aside from that, I thought there'd be more Purple Hybrid, but admittedly the deck is very much like not solved by any means. There's so many different ways you can build it. It's just got such a strong core to work with.
Yeah,
so I'm sure we'll see crazier stuff as time goes on. But yeah.
Yeah, no, Purple Hybrid is definitely something we like. There's so many ways, so many different ways to run either top end, no top end. Are we running the purple yellow guys or not? Like we're about to see. We wrote it as 3 Musketeers, but it's definitely got the Purple Hybrid packing it up. Lord Nightman as well, big scary deck going into this. All the YouTube videos were talking about it at the time, right? Everyone was saying, oh, it's the purple's a problem, put Dober X to 1, Protoform is a mess, Protoform at $50, every single version of it. It's a mess, but yeah, no, I'm shocked by the results as well. I mean, yeah, let's just start from the bottom. Let's just start from the bottom up. I gotta do a quick save of the names. That way we can go into them one by one. But let's talk about Imperial. Imperial's our first few returning king of the last. Can we say it's even the king of the last format? It was definitely the most representative of the last format.
He's a general, at the very least. He's a high commander of some kind. It's like the deck is just consistent, right? Like as long as Daikin exists and we have those memory gaining level 4s. Like it's just, I think it's always going to turn out. It's a hard deck to really like hit unless we get like an insane amount of tamer control in the format.
Right, and this is going to be 13th place Harlan. We're using Bandai TCG names, and it's a 13th place Harlan's list. And looking at it, we've seen nothing crazy. I feel like Hexblau has kind of become a staple in this deck. The normal talking points that I always have are, we got. We actually are lower on the level 5 count. Only 6 here instead of 8.
That's scary. That's crazy.
Instead of 7. 7 tends to be the standard, right?
Yeah.
But
usually nowadays.
3 progenitors are really loving that. No, one of the purple Wormmon, I always like to point out, seeing that I feel like any list that doesn't have the purple Wormmon is wrong, but I'm also not topping events, so when they do it anyway, it just proves me wrong. Anything else that stands out to you on Harlan's list?
No, I would agree entirely. I think the purple Wormmon is like an insanely good card. I will say the one thing that kind of catches me by surprise is we've been seeing a lot of like the ST9, I think it's ST9, whatever, the Imperial Structure deck, the Dragon mode, the ST. We've been seeing a lot of that running around recently with using HPD.
Right.
And I'm surprised we don't see it here. Like 2X a lot, I think, is also kind of like out of the norm. I think some people just run 1, right? Usually, or am I crazy?
Yeah, I think it's like 1 or 2, and then like I think the progenitor has kind of been pushing HPD out and in. Like Imperial, like those are the few slots. Those slots that we call out tend to be those like flexible slots that I see it move all around. Well, even making room for the Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark even isn't a mainstay normally in this deck right now. And no Armor Engine, just a single Lydramon just to kind of even out the level 4 ratio. But let's go into next is 12th place is what's his name? Intra's 12th place list. Very similar, except we got the red Vermon, Ukomon. What do you, Ukomon and Imperial, is that?
I mean, he's a free trait, right? So
that's true.
I don't know what interactions actually would help with. I guess you can pick it up off of your searchers, your BT12 searchers, because it's right on the free trait.
It does have free trait. Yep, no.
But I mean, it's Uko's a good card. You're not hurting your consistency too much with it, so I can see it. They're not investing in it too heavily.
And yeah, so we also got the one of Death Xmon, and then instead of a Hammer Spark, we got the purple memory boost. So we're not looking for any kind of security bomb in security. No starter deck Imperial Dramon Dragon mode either is worth mentioning. And then the one purple Wormmon I always love to call out. I love that everyone's always on this exact ratio for tamers. If anyone's ever building this deck, you need to just, every information and success is built off the shoulder of giants, and just do what everyone else is doing sometimes, man. If you're playing Imperial and you're looking at lit and you're thinking to yourself, I'm playing 3 Davis, maybe you're wrong, man. Maybe you're wrong.
If everybody's topping with 2 Davis, maybe it's a good idea to run 2 Davis. I will say I like the Death X in this list. I do think a lot of people were sleeping on Death X moving forward, but it's so good in the Lord Knight matchup. It's really, really good for the Lord Knight matchup.
And the last thing I'll notice, in comparison to Harlan, we're actually on 4 of the Draw 1 Demi V and only 2 of the DP Plus. Harlan had 2 of the DP Plus in their list.
Yeah.
Then 11th place, Dan Vang, Imperialmon GOAT since the beginning of time. Everyone knows Dan Vang. Everyone loves Dan Vang.
Yeah.
Let's 11th place. Anything stand out to you to this list so far?
So this one's the V Armor list. This is the new variant that we've been seeing creep up over in JP primarily, I believe. A lot of us over here in the English side of the card game are starting to move over to it a bit more because you have all these armor forms for Wormmon, for Vmon, and so Magnamon X is still an insane top end card, and we don't really hurt our consistency at all. It just works. It just works.
Yeah, I mean Magnamon X is just such a oppressive card, and being able to catch not only did you have the high roll of what is Imperial most of the time, having either that starting plan of let me just count to 6 using my armor forms, or even this Magnamon coming out of security is such a relevant security bomb.
It's so good.
This Davis Ken particularly, just sometimes they just play the Vmon off of the Davis Ken, and then if they attack my security and Magnamon's there, well, guess what? The Vmon was on board anyway. We're digivolving, we're removing something. It just does it's so flexible. I really generally, if I were to go into a tournament and play Imperial, it'd probably be the armor version personally, just because I like decks that have a little bit more of texture to them, allow me to do just just get around different problems in different ways, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then Blitz Omni for game is still relevant, honestly.
The classic, can't leave them.
All right, so then we get to go into talk about a new list, out with the old and in with the new, the big scary dog, but didn't perform this well this tournament. I mean, and this is 16th place, Gonswaga. We're gonna go with Gonswaga. Lord Nightmon X, the new dog on the street. I feel like what would you consider a reason why Lord Nightmon X, I would say, underperformed the hype?
So after I've been playing this deck a lot. This was the deck that I was going to play in the regional with, but I was on the wait list, and then I didn't get the wait list, and then lottery didn't work out, so I didn't get the chance to play. But I did play this a good bit. I've been practicing with it a lot. The deck, if it bricks, my God, is it hard to unbrick. It is a deck where if you do not open with a rookie turn 1, you are just stuck because you don't really have like you have all these options to cycle and draw, but 9 times out of 10, if your opponent just puts you to 1 every time, you're passing turn and you're just losing momentum. And the game's so fast right now where if you don't have something ready to go by turn 2, turn 3, there's a good chance you might have lost the game already at that point.
Oh, that's fair. No, I kind of feel the same way as you. Like if and even then, we saw it on stream a few times, and there were times where like they got into their Lord Knight, they were able to go into at least the BT13 one, a very defensive level 6, but still allows you to go wide, lets you be flexible with especially the Deltamon, the Black God of Uber, and then you have access to floodgates. You were able to loop Gazis and Psychmons. Like this is probably this deck on its own is probably a big reason why 7 Great Demon Lords didn't do too well. But like it just has some flaws. Like we watched it against Birds, and like Birds had an easy time, and I feel like people are still trying to figure out. Yeah, no, I still think people are trying to figure out the right way to play the deck. Like, when is it the right time to go into Lord Knight X Antibody, I think is a key thing people are still trying to learn in specific matchups. Because once you go into this Lord Knight Mon X, like, you're going for an aggressive, and then after that, you really don't have much. If the opponent... Like, you look into it, like, Ancient didn't even top... The Ancient Guru didn't top this tournament. And this is probably a deck wide. The Ancient doesn't have a lot of removal. However, the things that did top either ignore it or do fine or have a lot of removal on top of them.
Yeah.
So, it's a fragile deck. Like, it doesn't have protection. It's just... It goes wide. And so...
Yeah, there's sort of like one key turn for this deck normally, and that is the turn that you go into your BT19 Lord Knight, because most of the time you're probably going to pass turn at that point if you were at 1 or 2 memory. When you started off your whole combo of climbing up, especially if you didn't see the right core pieces of the combo to get up there, you're having to sort of finagle your way into a stack.
Yeah.
If they clear your line during that turn when you pass with Lord Knight, then usually you fall behind and it can be really bad. It's hard to build back up from there.
Yeah.
But if you survive that turn, that is when you kind of get your explosive power after that. Is like the next turn after this when you can kind of pop off. I will say you're right though. Like Ancient Guard, it struggles with this deck because they spit out so many low end bodies that Ancient Guard can't touch your main stack. And all the decks that we see topping, like things like Imperial, things like Mirage Galaxy, stuff like that cycle or loop or are just very consistent with Source Strip, yada yada, just get around a lot of what makes this deck so powerful. They outperform it as long as they sort of play into the matchup correctly.
Right. So this was 16th place. One notable mentions is like this is the first time featured on the channel. So let's look at things that we're seeing. 3 and 3 split on the Lord Knight NX Antibody. 4 of pretty much all the both of the Dober engines playing 2 Cerberus. I feel like that's probably a decision point. I see a lot of 1-ofs in lists that I see going around. Bastamon has become a pretty good mainstay 1-of in the deck. Lady Devi X, I feel like that's not a card that everyone's running. And then whether you're on the Leviathan X or not could be interesting. I mean, Leviathan X is just so good with Cerberus. Yeah. Like, this is just so crazy. And 1-of Anubis, if you see it, you see it.
Yeah, the Leviathan X, so I'm kind of coming to a realization personally where I'm like, I don't know if Leviathan is always worth it in this deck because you end up building a wide board going with your combo most of the time. So unless that's like your initial stack you go up into, which then you're kind of paying a lot of memory potentially, it's sort of iffy. The Lady Devi, it's interesting just to see the 1 Lady Devi X instead of leaning into the Lady Devi package. And I agree with you, the 2 Cerberus is also very out of the norm. But a cool combo you can often do with this deck is you can do this, you go regular Cerberus, go Cerberus X, spit out the 3, give the 3 rush, swing with it, let it die in security, and then go into Lord Knight and spit it back out. So there's lots of neat stuff you can kind of tech around with like doing those different combos. It's interesting to me that there's no Dober. There's no regular Dober. There's no regular blocker to drop aside from just the Delta Inheritable.
Right. I mean, the blocker, like in my mind, the blocker is so funny because Lord Naimon itself is a redirect, so it's like also better. True, it's like better blocker. But having blocker inheritable sometimes is a detriment. Just because on stream we saw it against Birds, and the whole time I was waiting for Garudamon X to come down and just clear the stack or Ace. Sorry, Garudamon Ace. But yeah, no, this was 16th place. Let's go into 15th place. Someone that got in on the wait list, Spent Spark. Let's look at the differences. 4 of the protoform, not even bothering with the original X antibody. Actually playing 7th Lightning, playing Argomon. Argomon must be for all the Tamer matchups, right?
Yeah, that's for Tamer Lockdown, it makes sense. It's a good card.
Here's the Dober you were just talking about.
Yep, there he is. A little bit extra card draw. Same, pretty typical sort of level 3 lineup. We see the one of Psych, one of Gabu X. Gazi's in there, of course. Gobbler's basically just Dober's rookie at this point, more than Labra is.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Otherwise, everything else is pretty standard. We see the one of Lady WX again, which is neat.
What about the Gabu X? How do you feel about Gabu X? Just to really find your X pieces, I guess you do have X slots at every turn, and you really do need to find your protoforms, if I'm not mistaken.
I get the idea. I'm of the mind of like I would rather have a useful inheritable rather than just like an on-play search. So the same thing with Guru X too. It's why I don't use that. Like I don't have it in my build, and it works just fine. I think that is kind of bait. I also think that Black Gato Uber is kind of bait as well, personally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna probably get shots fired at me, but I don't know. I'm just with how consistent, like you want to see your line consistently every time to win the game, and when you start teching in all these just little weird like small choice cards, it just makes you less consistent at what you want to do. Which this deck is, it's at its core, it's basically an OTK deck, pretty much. It's effectively.
It's trying to do 4 checks in a single turn, and then find 2 rush bodies to attack and finish the game in a single. That's how I see it. Or you just Leviathan X for 6 checks.
Yep.
Let's that was 15th place, Spent Spark. Now we get to go into this was 10th place's Wes. We got the Labramon in this one, and Chimera. And even Zed as well. Thoughts on Zed? Zed is for what?
So the Zed is cool because you run Deltamon in this deck, and you can spit out Delta so often. So that gives you your composite card to pop with Overclock. It's basically just a Blitz Omni. It's essentially his function as a Blitz Omni, and he punishes like Hexablow if they source strip too heavy.
Oh, okay.
Because then they can't answer him, and he's decent removal too, because when Digivolving on play, because like that stuff doesn't matter. So that's all pretty good. The 4 Labra is definitely really surprising. Why
Labra? Why would you say Labra is more important than, or Gobbly is more important than Labra? It's pretty much the same. The effect trashes. So you think that the trashing is more relevant than summoning?
Yes, because you are more consistently trashing from your hand than you're actually summoning something. Because both Dober and Cerberus X trash a card regardless. They don't have to have X anybody in sources to trash a card in hand. So you're going to gain that memory no matter what. You also gain memory off of Deltamon Evo there as well. You don't trash cards when you're at your Lord Knight card. That's it.
Oh, fair enough. Once you're at 6, you've already gained your memory anyway. That makes sense. I like that. And then actually another thing I'll point out is only 2 memory boosts. I feel like this deck wants to be running 4 and 4 wisdom training, 4 memory boosts, and just go off to the races after that. Finding room for a mat is interesting. Just more memory to your credit. I imagine just being able, you're always discarding, so getting 1 extra memory, and it's unblockable memory too off of a Tamer. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about Bird Up. Everyone's favorite Phoenixmon actually made another top today.
Dude, it was so much fun to watch this deck on stream.
The fact that they're not running Garuda X or Ace. Oh my goodness! The whole time, the whole video or the whole match, I was like, "Where's the Ace? Surely it's gonna come down." But no, this deck it's always a joy to watch this deck in action. Nothing particularly new came out for the deck. It's just, I think more people are on it, more people are enjoying it, so we're seeing more representation of it. 3-3 split on level 6, and then having room for a Valkyriemon Ace makes sense. The deck is always finding its win con by hard playing your level 5s and going into Garudamon X for just free value constantly. Not to mention the ability. This version in other versions aren't really running the Christy Damon Biomon into Garudamon combo. I feel like that's pretty unique. I didn't say this person's name. This person is Joust Strider. This list definitely diverges from the previous Phoenixmon list we've seen in the just in the Dallas event. I didn't cover it just because life, but yeah, no. What, you have any takes on the birds list? Have you played it yourself at all?
I tampered with it a little bit on launch and then quickly realized that I was not good enough to play this list. I think the deck honestly is really good. I genuinely think that it is a deck that can compete with a lot of tier 1 contenders. It just is a very hard deck to pilot because you have to be so precise with like the turn that you push your aggression, how you resolve your effects because of how you can chain your rushes together to get like the most out of your plays with it, right? Yeah. And also it does admittedly like it can hard lose to bounce like
matchups. I was gonna say
the second you don't get your end of attack off Phoenix X or you don't get your on deletions, you're just like, oh, okay, so everything I did was worthless.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like we were in previous formats, like blue's been so relevant, you know, between Mirage, Blue Hybrid, Imperial bottom decks and kind of swings over stuff sometimes, but like they also just ignore most of what you're doing. So Imperial being strong, yeah, like it's just as someone who historically plays blue decks, I don't even like that the fact that blue inherently just counters an entire keyword in this game, and it's not. I don't really approve of it, but congrats to Joust, 9th place with Phoenixmon. I'm sure plenty of people love the fact that you were able to top with this. And then we get to talk about, we have it listed for 8th place, Andy. We have it listed as 3 Musketeers because, you know, it is very heavily into, I would say there's almost more, it's Purple Hybrid with, you know, traditional Baelstar alongside the new, 3 Musketeers tamer, Violet and Boots. You know, go ahead. What are your first thoughts on seeing what's in front of you?
Yeah, Baelstar Hybrid was honestly something I was not expecting, but at the end of the day, it's really, really cool. We see them running the Shoto Mother engine for just like stall so they can get set up, which makes a lot of sense because Baelstar is a deck that, you know, takes a little bit of time. Yeah. Violet helps you definitely accelerate that game plan by being able to pitch your 3 Musketeer cards.
At the start of main phase every time.
Yes, yeah, it's very nice, and she's a memory fixer as well, which is good. And she's purple, so that also works with purple hybrid stuff. And purple hybrid is just a good cycle. It's a good core engine that has lots of board control, has lots of good little chip and aggression, so you're not having to just wait on Baelstar to be able to do things.
Valgar's also milling you constantly as well, so also accelerating the Baelstar engine as well. And then Calling of Darkness brings back Baelstar, Miss Memory Boost for acceleration. You even have time to fit in a Jet Sylphie with the other half of the purple hybrid stuff that we got this set. And then just at this point, there's so many good 7-cost options, right? When Baelstar was at its peak, like we didn't have Shine of B, right?
No,
we didn't have Shine of B. Heaven's Judgment obviously is the with a big card now, right? Not only with the new Koichi, the Shoto just gives us access to Heaven's Judgment all times, along with just the low A Kaiser, all these yellow Digimon is such a cool deck. It was cool to see. I think we featured it once or twice on the stream. There are conversations still of how fun is Shoto Mother coming, and I think there's a conversation to be had whether of all the decks it's enabling versus all the decks it's walling out of the format, and which is the worse or good evil, right? Like which situation is better, what kind of trumps the other. And I think that's a conversation for a different time, but I just, you know, comment section is always wonderful. Now we get to talk about the single purple. I think this is the only purple hybrid to actually make top 16, 7th place, getting an Omnimon. This is an Omnimon winning purple hybrid list. Steven Digi, 7th place. Using the yellow top end. This is a version I wasn't expecting to do well.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the Central stuff running around with people's test builds because it makes sense. It's just like a really, really good card. The DP reduction is very powerful. We see them running that sort of like Lugumon low end too to get those AGs out there, which is really, really neat. The Bancho Leos, that catches me off guard like crazy. That one is not a card I expected to see at all.
It's such a strange like stall card, right? On place. Yeah. The one time we saw it on stream, they hard played it for a reduced cost of 6. They played it for Yeah, reduced cost of 6. So they played it for 6, and then on play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. All turns, when a Digimon becomes suspended, you may have one of your opponent's Digimon get -4k and -1 security. So it can stall certain decks. Like again, like we think about things like Ancient Guru, they really are trying to only attack with 1 body a turn. This can really shut them out.
Yeah.
And then Sindrel, we saw Sindrel do so much the few times we featured this deck. Being able, this was their blitz for game. This was the removal a lot of the times, because the Sindrel by itself could minus with overclock, you could -9k a body, along in combination with Rihi. They were minusing I'm sorry, 13k
total. Yeah.
Right, in a single attack without even having to attack into a Digimon. The Shadow Seraphi Ace just is. I think there was a lot of hype for this when it first got revealed, but slowly people have been backing away on how hype this card is. I'm sure something's gonna break it eventually, but right now it's not seeing the success we thought it was gonna have. But no, yeah. Also, the Lugomon engine I thought was super interesting. The only thing I question is only 2 Jack raids. I thought Purple Hybrid was really gung ho about using 4, especially since its counterpart Hammer Spark got put to 1. Like, you guys don't know what you're missing out on, man. Just max it out, because we, as blue players, we miss it all the time.
Yeah, I think Jack Raid is a card that I've seen the 2-ofs kind of creeping up a bit more now as people try to diversify their top end and list with Purple Hybrid. I myself sit at 3, so I still want to see it, and I don't want to just mill all of it with Velgar on accident. But otherwise, it's just kind of cool how toolboxy Purple Hybrid can be. Just how many different choices you can make with this deck to really kind of have that player expression with your cards, because we don't see that too often in Digi, like really, because so many things are so very archetypal. So it's nice to have this as like an outlet for that.
Yeah, no, I'll love to see, because this 2.0, we haven't mentioned it yet, but 2.0 is definitely our nationals format. So I imagine things are to be seen, to be decided, to be changed, and we'll probably see a lot more Purple Hybrid and different as people settle on where this really should sit and what either top ends and low ends where we should be running. And then 6th place, Cursed with Fenrir. The Golden Gates have allowed a single Fenrir once again to grace the top 16, as they always do. Only one Fenrir is allowed the top 16. Not much to say. I think my shotgun reaction will always be, how are you only running 3 Kazuchimon, you madman? This is still the hardest card to find for your combo, and being able to go into your level 7 combo will always be the most important thing. So not finding this guy is kind of rough, man.
Yeah, it's scary.
But after that, no, this is pretty traditional. It's heavier on the Hellugarmon than I feel like. I feel like the deck lists are moving back to having more Hellugarmon. Oh, I guess I didn't mention, like, no Daruga package. We're just pure Dark Animal SOC the whole way through, with Skull Bellucci as a guest star. I know you're not a fan of Fenrir. What takes you got for this?
Fenrir's just the deck that, like, whenever someone plays it against me, it's always turn 2, I'm dead. It's just doesn't matter who plays it. They just have it. I give them some sort of luck to just slaughter me. But I feel I think the 3 Kazuchi I do see a lot pretty often. Hellluger is basically just a glorified option card in Digimon form. Really,
it's my favorite version of Trump Sword, dude. It's so good.
Basically, and then I mean, on top of that too, like, he's also really good for like early game control, because you can get your Lugomon piece back and stuff like that usually.
Especially if you back it up with Analog Youth, you just get the racing back anyway, and you have fully set up after that. Yeah, no, not too much to say. It's a Fenrir's been pretty solid. No new cards have really been added here. Just it's interesting that we're on the full SOC, no Daruga package. If you're in the comment section, always let me know why you chose to go pure dogs instead of the dragons. But moving on, we got we got 2 Fenrirs. Oh, we got 2 Fenrirs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought there was a second Fenrir.
You're right. Yeah, there are 2 Fenrirs. The previous one was Terra X. My bad. Maybe I should fix that. But whatever. This one is 6th place. 6th place is Cursed. And actually on the Dexterugamon package, both level 4s, just being able to be flexible with your level 4s is good.
Or Kazuchi.
Yeah, for Kazuchi. I think the big thing, the way I've always understood it, is the Dexteruga level 4 allows you to attack. Or if you're able to combo that turn, allows you to at least attack as your level 4, and then if it dies in security, you can go into the Dexteruga, and then you can full combo off of that, and then get all your checks in and go for the OTK is really what this enables. But beyond that, I'm not too convinced on one way or the other. Both have had equal success in my eyes.
Yeah, I think admittedly, I think the DP boost can kind of come up since we do have a lot of other 16k bodies now for level 7s that can be in security.
That's true.
Additionally, the reboot on Dexteruga can be really nice in case you aren't able to kill that turn. So you are able to have your blocker AGs actually be relevant. You can do your full aggression of damage and just have a big 16k blocker just chilling there. Or 17k rather.
Yeah.
It's just more. It's also just more cycle. Puts more cards in the trash too.
All right. Yeah. No, it's Fenrir. Gratz cursed. Sorry for getting the decks mixed up, but it's fine. We'll get to move on. We'll talk about the single Magnamon X list that did well. 5th place Minch. Yeah, 5th place Minch. Yeah, no, it's Magna X. Actually adopting the new Hankumon. Digimon's attack target can't be changed. Oh. This must be their answer for... Oh, and until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon can't be deleted in battle. This must be their answer to all the Lord Nightmon's shenanigans happening, right?
Lord Nightmon, Mother Control, stuff like that. I mean, assuming Mother Control doesn't have like an ace on, or an ace setup ready. Yeah, no, I mean, just being able to ignore redirects so that way you're guaranteed checking that security so you can get your protections back up and restand. That's really good.
Huge.
The thing that's actually most surprising to me is no Zubagon Punch.
No Zubagon. Oh, they've dropped the black package. Yeah, we've removed the black package entirely. Why Soren, Joe? It's just to activate our Zudamons more? Maybe Imperial Dramon? Or it's just another way to cheek out more memory on your turn. That's one hidden power of this card.
I was gonna say it might just be a punish to Mother.
True.
For stuff like that, because she's always just sourceless. There's a lot of decks in general just kind of spit out bodies without sources, like even Lord Knight, like you said. Yeah,
being able to strip the X antibodies off of things, being able to strip off all the
protoforms is huge. Yeah, yep. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, beyond that, interesting that we cut the BT8 Magnamon and cut the BT13 one just to make room for Flame Dramon. 2 Zunamon Ace is pretty standard. Blinding Ray for self-activating our Magnamon X. Heaven's Judgment. I mean, you're on a 3-color Digimon. You might as well make the most of it. But beyond that, yeah, no, this is pretty... 2 Paladin mode Aces. I do like it when people are on 2 Paladin mode Aces. I feel like being able to loop both has a lot of merit, too. So you can loop yourself, gain the 3 memory. Yeah, there's just a lot of value there, I think.
Agreed.
Congrats on 5th place, Minch. Then we get to talk about Shine, 3rd place, Holy Champ, also coming in on the wait list. I know we featured it, I think once or twice on stream, and this guy's matches were so fast. They would be done within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It was astonishing how fast his matches were, and no new stuff, no BT17 Shine Gray stuff at all. We are pure. We could take this list back to BT13 if we wanted to.
Pretty much, aside from the trainings, it is basically just BT13 Shine. Yeah.
Oh, I guess trainings. Yeah, Japan got trainings during BT13, and then we had to wait till 14. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no, we like Shine Gray. Shine Gray's still a good deck. I know it's also a fan favorite, very similar to Bird Up, even more so, I'd say. Definitely we see this list top in other regions way more often. We see Latin America, Oceania, even I feel like has more tops in Europe than it does in NA, so it's very rare to see Shine get its top in NA. But
there's certain decks that I think, and I've used this example, or not, maybe not example. I can't think of the word for how to refer to the phrase, but there are certain people where they're chosen Digimon, just give them little forehead kisses at night. They tuck them in. They make sure they're well taken care of. They got water on the nightstand. Make sure that, you know what, hey, I'm gonna make sure that you get this W, King. We're gonna get you there, and that's what they do. All right. There's a couple people with War Greymon where they always see the pieces, and this guy clearly just saw it with Shine, and like, because it's yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing I know what you're talking about. It's like a guardian angel or a spirit animal, kind of vibe. My biggest, if I can call it a criticism, I would. I just don't feel like it's a criticism. It's just none of the yellow stuff makes. I feel like not adding any of the BT17 stuff feels like it makes you very weak to Hexplow being on the board, because now none of your Marcuses can attack while he's on board. But we did see, even on stream, we were able to see Holy Champ answer Hexplow on time multiple times. I just feel like maybe that's the key, where like we just happened to see it. He was just prepped at the right time to be able to answer it, had the right hand. I feel like maybe they got a little lucky there. Maybe there's small criticisms, if I can call it that, but otherwise, obviously it worked. They got 4th place. And for the record, if you look back at the pie chart, our first place technically was a 6th-way tie. So 1 through 6th were all 8-1 for this tournament, which is kind of wild.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
It was a little wild. So I mean, technically, they did just as well as Fenrir, as Magna X, and the Mirage decks we're about to cover. So worth noting. What is this? This is Mirage, but we're playing Bukamon as our Digibubble.
A lot of people are doing the Bukamon stuff now because of Huankun, the EX6 Huankun, because you spit out a body. So it basically just gives you that extra memory for playing out your level 3s, like your Madokis, your Otamas, your Gaomon. It's just a better egg to run with the Huankun package.
Right.
It makes an already very memory efficient deck even more memory efficient. Yeah, that's basically it. That's why they're running it.
No, that makes sense to me. The biggest thing that stands out to me is I love the rookie lineup will always be the same to me. Blue got a new floodgate that's a little more relevant. I guess a little less relevant now with how 7 Great Demon Lords kind of didn't show up this tournament, and there's probably reasons for that. Then different video, different time. Maxing out on our searching engine, just 4 trainings, 4 memory boosts. The thing that feels crazy to me is only 4 tamers. Do we just feel like we don't need it anymore because of Huankun, or what is the logic here?
It's risky. I know Ben, the Mirage Stan, you know, my boy, he is on the mind of like, if I run the tamers at 2 and 2, I never see them. I never see them at all. The second they're at 3-3, I see them all the time.
So
but
it's
3-2? I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's that little forehead kisses thing again. This one, they were down for it.
Yeah, no, that could be it. And I always approve of the 1 hybrid in the list. I think every Mirage should. I always think Lanamon's the wrong one, but I get it. There's more flexibility here with Lanamon, mostly because you could tuck any 4 under and then go into a normal Galgamon play maybe with jamming is interesting. My debate would always be like, maybe you don't want to get shut out by Ruin Mode. Maybe you want to play Korikakumon. It's the same thing, man. Just 6K. Kind of relevant. Sorry, but anyway, I digress. Let's go. This is Kakeru, 4th place. I don't know if I said it, but here we are. Now we get to talk about 2nd and 1st place. Night Turtle, this is 2nd place. We get to talk about, we have it listed as Mirage Galaxy. I get there's a whole debate about it right now. It's Mirage Box, Moon Box, Sun and Moon Galaxy Box. I like to call it Moonwalking personally, but that's just me.
It is a good one. I like that one.
But yeah, no, we saw both, and I think we're gonna see it in Charles's list, our 1st place king. Ryugamon is the big addition that's been added to this deck, and Decode 5 is one hell of a drug. I mean, they were using this card to just do everything they wanted. It felt like. What's your take on this on the deck? This list in general. Oh, Shamanmon too. They added Shamanmon.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So the Shaman, honestly, giving Red a memory blocker is huge. They definitely needed it. Well, Red needed it, not Galaxy Loop, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's we need to decide a name for this. Like, do we call it Galaxy Core maybe because you run that core for everything? Is that what we do? Even if you're not looping it necessarily?
We should call it that. Mirage is not the problem. It's
yeah.
Coincide is the problem. That's what I'll write every time.
Yeah, that's true. Coincide. We should just call the deck Coincide. Man, this Coincide.
Coincide is the problem. That's the name of the deck now.
No, yeah, it's pretty much as long as we keep getting like fairly generic level 6s that are blue, red rookie
or red
can work. Yeah, or red.
Right now, the eyes are on Mirage Gal, right? He's the most abusable one, but like it very easily can flip the script and make a really good red one. Like that new Galamon X, you know, I'm just saying.
I mean, the Hexablamon just loves this engine, just being able to have enough memory to do everything they want to do, and then have more sources under them as well. So Hexaball is even nastier in this deck than his own deck because he's just gonna be always source like wise ahead of you for Ice Clad.
Yeah, I mean, that is a funny note about the Hexablow. Like out of EX7, like basically all the blue support was pointless other than the Hexablow himself, and that Hexablow himself is finding room in every other deck but his own. It's just so sad. I feel like it has more room even in the fish deck. We're seeing a lot of that digital sea stuff where they're able to absorb deep sources savers. Or deep. Yeah. Oh, is it deep savers?
It's deep savers. It's deep savers. Yeah.
Okay. So and then they'll be able to just absorb sources and suddenly you just cap that off with a Hexblow instead. Kind of nuts. And the tamer control. But no, this is again second place Night Turtle. My opinions on the list are on moonwalking in general would probably be just Coinsal's the problem. I mean, sure, we can hint Mirage Gao anyway if you really want to make Mirage people upset. In its own deck, it's fine. It really is. You only see one Mirage top, maybe. It's really this moonwalking engine that really takes it over the edge.
Yeah.
And if it's not Mirage Gao, I promise it'll be something else. We have access to red. We have access to blue. It could be either, honestly. And honestly, even then, you see it right now. They're using blue level 4s or blue level 5s that aren't part of the Nightclaw Nightfang engine. So you could easily see this deck run into a cross of like if there's a red purple level 5 that lets us go easily into a purple that we can abuse, like a Lilith. I mean, there's a world where Lilith Loop gets abused with the right level 4s, right? So just things to think about. That's why I'm more of errata. If we ever needed to errata a card, it should be these tamers from the Nightclaw Nightfang deck. That's it. But let's talk about the champ real quick. Noticeable difference. Less of the Shamanmon. And actually, funny enough, the fact that Night Turtle was running 2 Shamanmon was the key thing that allowed, I feel like one of the big things that allowed them to win in the finals. Night Turtle, the finals being Night Turtle versus Charles. After tiebreakers, Charles ended up in first place, but Night Turtle did win that mirror. The mirror looked awful. Oh my goodness. I would never wish that on my worst enemies. Oh my god.
I could only imagine.
Oh man, game 1 was so hilarious to watch with it was Night Turtle. They established Mirage first and Charles just scooped. He was just like, "Nope, you're good. We can't do this anymore." And then game 3 was a little back and forth. It was such an interesting, hard to see. Any notable differences to you?
I mean, the deck list card choice wise is pretty much exactly identical except for no Full Metal Blaze. It's the exact same list. You just flip the card and you swap the Apollo and Mirage around in the order there.
Yeah, look at that. You guys can see it live.
Yeah, it's just the ratios that are different, which, I mean, I think it just kind of tells where it's like the deck is slowly becoming solved, if you want to refer to it like that, where people are just like, okay, these are the better ratios to run for this deck to be most optimal for what you want to do into this format.
Isn't Charles a local to you? Is that crazy?
I think so. But
they use the screen name Ocean Man. Oh, Ben knows him. Okay, that might be.
Ben knows him. He goes to one of the shops that I don't go to. But
okay. Cool. All right.
But yeah, we do have a pretty good Galaxy moonwalking player at our shop, Tyler. Shout out to you. Who he's is brutal to play against him when he plays it because he just knows his stuff very well. Who'd have thought that free Paladin mode ace is you know,
it was good. Yeah, free level 7s. Yeah,
yeah, that just could unsuspend infinitely as long as there's Digimon on board.
Didn't we ban a card that allowed that? I think maybe sort of, kind of. I don't. Maybe. I thought we did, but yeah, that use that for the next time someone's arguing for Mirage Galgamon to be banned. We did ban a different card that allows us to go into 7s for free. Just saying, straight up banned. No, that is very rare for Digimon. Still, only one card has ever been banned in Digimon. But yeah, no. Thank you, TJ, for entertaining this fun side project of mine of having someone guest star on one of these. So, yeah, no, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on, sir. Thank you. It was very fun. It was nice to jump in on one of these. I've been watching these for so long, so this was really cool to get to be part of it.
Yeah, so check them out. Hyper Coliseum. Him and Ben are the main Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong. We're gonna. I think I said that right.
The Cheech and Chong of the boy.
Of a Hyper Coliseum. I know there's a couple other people that you guys work with, but you guys definitely stand out as the two headliners of that channel. So nice to have you. Always see our tournament. Even if I don't cover the tournament, it's probably 99 times out of 100 on Eggman events. There's a couple I didn't cover just because I'm a lazy guy. There's also all the other Bandai card games we cover, and I genuinely mean that when I say all of the other Bandai card games, even if Eggman isn't posting about it, even if I'm not posting about it, we cover it all, man. We're here, we're a team. We just want you guys to have your information. So thank you, TJ. Thank you for watching. I'm hitting stop record now.